Aloha and welcome back to the Goddess Corner. Here, I, April Williams from Golden Lifestyle Unlimited, and the beautiful Jupiter 1111 are here to talk with you today about the wonderful. Oh, can you feel it? Oh, I think I did because my heart just burst open. Body shaming. So,
Mm.
did anybody's butt pucker? I call it making diamonds when you squeeze that piece of coal. Anyway, who's making diamonds right now? Just thinking about body shaming. I am. I
Yes.
am rich with the jewels. Yeah. So there's a lot of. I mean, I grew up actually because with my physical disability and things someone from my past, a really close family member, was constantly kind of making fun of my arm. And so I always thought that was something I should hide behind. And I found myself like just taking on weight until the point where I was the biggest kid in the class, but was always like, wanted to be small. So I didn't even know I was heavy handed. You know what I mean? When you're like tagging the other kids and they're flying
Yeah.
across the room, like that was me, the fourth grader that's 5'8" and everyone else is like 3 foot something maybe. So in my efforts to be smaller and efforts to kind of hide away, I actually got bigger. I felt
Mhm.
myself eating my emotions and, just judging myself and not wanting to look at myself and look externally. So I found a lot of, as partly being a latchkey kid, I judged myself based on what media told me. And since I wasn't, blonde Barbie with the time, I did have an hourglass. It was just, at least an hour and a half, maybe two. I'm just saying. um, but today, just doing some simple physical exercises with my class, I found myself, my heart just opening and realizing that all those years of putting myself down and holding myself back, I actually had this whole just part where I was like, are the decisions that I've made for myself, have they been about just me trying to hide, just me thinking I'm too big? Even the clothing I would wear would be just kind of large and frumpy and just I wanted to detach from that body. And but how do you make it better unless you go into the body, unless you accept your body? I mean,
Yeah.
you're a beautiful woman, Jupiter. A beautiful, beautiful. I mean, she does the beautiful transformation. She's always, I mean, look at her, so seductively sitting there now, well lit with the beautiful sparkling background, the
I
most
know, right? It's just
romantic
like
thing I could think of.
I know. It's like it's reminding me like shooting stars like going across my face because of the way the light's hitting the camera.
Gorgeous.
We were talking about body shaming. Like, oh, we should really talk about that. I had that moment yesterday, last night, and where I'm in Orange County right now, visiting family, and my sister. I mean, my sister's right now, and
Florida, not
in
California.
Florida, yes, in Florida, yes. And so she has a full length mirror, and I don't have a full length mirror at home. So I just get dressed and kind of look down, make sure that I don't have any tags sticking out, and then go out the door. And so yesterday was the first time I've seen myself in the buff completely because she has a full length mirror in a long time. So when I saw it, I was shocked. I didn't realize really how big my body had actually gotten because I'm I'm still chased by good looking men, so I'm just like, oh, my still look okay. I'm not. I feel good, so whatever. But when I saw my body, I was actually shocked, and I got into this. I started body shaming myself. Like, how did you get so big, and how can you not notice how heavy you are? And it's like all these instant criticisms were coming out in my thoughts. It was just cascading, and I just got really down. And I had texted my DM, and I'm like, how can you be in love with this body? Like that was my serious. It was a serious question. And when I ask those kind of stupid questions, he doesn't answer me back because he's like, "That's a stupid question." He's just like, "What are you talking about?" So
Spirit is nice like that sometimes.
yeah,
Like sometimes it'll help them dodge it by
yeah,
like getting it late or like their phone dies
dies. And
miraculously so they don't have to answer you
it
because
turned
that's
out
a harsh one.
that's a harsh one. Yeah, and then like he didn't answer. He didn't even something happened. He actually didn't get the message. I ended up resending it to him this morning because we were talking about something. But that was last night. As I'm going through this, I kind of texted to him, and I'm, going down the rabbit hole. Feel like you're just like spiraling down and going through this body shaming. And then it was just like spirit interrupted kindly the stupid thoughts I was having, and said and took me to a moment when I was in grammar school, and it was and I was looking at my body. I couldn't see my body in the mirror anymore. What I saw was a statue of Aphrodite, and their version of Aphrodite looked like my body. Now I have a fat butt, PHAT. That's what my DM calls it. I said that's the only time you can call my butt fat, that kind. So, I have a kind of a very voluptuous rear, but Spear was showing me that statue, and it was like it was a voluptuous rear, and she was, like a female version of a teddy bear. Well, we like in a man has a teddy bear. That was their version of beauty. So the first memory he brought me to was superimposing my eyes, where I was no longer seeing my body. I saw the statue instead. And then he took me to a memory in high school where it was after we graduated, and there was a young man athlete, gorgeous, who had a body like a Greek god, and he was like, you would be perfect if you were getting like 40 or 50, 40 or 50 pounds. And I was like, what? Are you crazy? Now you wouldn't think like somebody who was very usually people you think that people who are very athletic want somebody who's just as athletic as they are, but in his estimation, good guy, kind, you know, very good looking, Greek god kind of body, bronze. I mean, it was just like hard, hard as a rock, until you touch him, like, oh, how can you be soft and hard at the same time? It's like marble. But he's like, you cute, but you would be perfect if you were getting like 40 pounds. I was like, what? And then when today at dinner, there was this very handsome waiter, and we were like flirting and stuff back and forth. My nephew goes, "Get his number, DT." I was like, "Oh, listen, wingman, settle down." But it was kind of funny. So it was like last night when these thoughts were coming, Spirit's like, it doesn't matter, because kind of there's always people who are going to find you attractive, no matter what size you are, because there's something about the inner beauty that's like, ooh, you know, some people there are preferences. We do have preferences for things, so we can't say, oh, they're going to be, attracted to my energy. They can't see your energy from across the room. Let's not get too overly spiritual. The per- you are not attracted to somebody's personality from across the room if you can't see them
Well,
clearly. Sometimes you can be, but it's like they're charming. They're gonna have to really be charming to catch your ear, or catch your eye. But you know, kind of extreme for them to even catch your attention. But when a good-looking person walks in, or what you find is beautiful at the time, you don't know really what they have in them until they open their mouth. And I'm a sapiosexual, so when they open their mouth, they need to make sure they have some intelligence, or others like, you're just pretty much. But the point with the body shaming was, going back to that, was that we have we speak to ourselves so critically, and we have to remember that it really, at the end of the day, when you are beautiful on the inside, when you have value for yourself on the inside, that screams out of your pores. Whether you are thin, or you're bigger than you want to be, or you're smaller than you would like to be. There are people who are smaller than they would like to be because they're genetically made up that way. And I was going through that spiral, and I was really talking down on myself. And Spirit's like, stop, stop. Because at the end of the day, 7 billion people on the planet, there's so many different versions of beauty. And every person has a facet of that beauty, is a reflection of that different kind of beauty. And it almost like Spirit got almost annoyed with me, like, how dare you speak so poorly about the house that I live in? And I was
mm,
like even now I want to cry, like, I'm sorry. And
that's
that
kind of.
and
Mm.
that was like the end of that, and they had that other experience. And sometimes I think God, Spirit will give us an experience of somebody else, find that we find attractive, finding us attractive, because it's like, oh, that's ego, but that's also helping us, like, oh, somebody else is seeing me, they see me. and they find me beautiful, because in this moment I felt really pretty and I felt good and I felt powerful and I was having a good time, and I caught the eye of a really handsome man, kind of thing. And so, but last night when I was body shaming myself, and Spirit gave me all these images of different kinds of beauty, and it was just like at the end of it was just almost annoyance on his part. Like, don't talk about the house I chose to live in. I love it. Stop
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Stop it.
And it's there's different techniques to kind of get yourself out of it
Right.
depending on what your relationship with spirit is.
Hmm.
And sometimes we've rehearsed that negative self-talk so much that it's hard to stop it, right? It's hard to even register that external. Like
Hmm.
her nephew went so far as to say, get that number to help reinforce in her, yes, you are still a beautiful woman and we can all see it. And if you didn't see that guy hit on you, well, guess what? We did. Because sometimes you don't even see when someone is appreciating you as the beautiful being that you are, beautiful physical being that you are. And just because you don't know how to love yourself externally, just how to take in that physical because you let yourself believe that everything is beautiful, but you get to have that external reinforcement. And I suggest that you allow it. I suggest that you learn and experience it through us who are saying to you, yes, you are beautiful. Yes, spirit is talking to you. And it may not talk to you directly, it may be talking to you through what Jupiter 1111 is saying, or my experiences, like when I was able to kind of fully digest that, hey, I'm not using the correct lens on how I view my physical body. Yeah, those dimples are there, but if I really want to get rid of those dimples on my thighs, well, like Missy Elliott says, jiggle that thigh, you know? There's something sensual and sexual about that feminine softness. And that's what we crave. That's what men crave in terms of that's what makes us virile, or that makes them virile, but that what makes us rich and fertile. That's what makes us feminine, are these soft curves um, with these places to explore. And if you aren't where you want to be, maybe you can put yourself in the emotion of where you want to be and allow your body to start to tell you. If you're feeling some kind of emotion come up and then you wanting to just eat to shove that emotion down, guess what? You're realizing it's not about the hunger. You're not listening to your body. You're letting emotions flood you to the point where you're you want to deny the body. What is the body saying? Most likely it's saying, hey, purge these tears, or shout that anger, or punch a pillow, whatever it is that you need to do to release your emotions in a healthy way, as opposed to eating or starving yourself too, right? Because there's the other extreme where you just want to have so much control that you avoid honoring and taking care of the temple, taking care of the, I loved how you put it earlier, the tabernacle, the
Hmm.
space of spirit, that your aspect of spirit is purposeful. It's here on purpose. So um, I invite you to love the physical you. Just look at you, just look at you in a mirror. If you don't, that's what's beautiful. Like, I did a lot of mirror work. I was sitting in front of a mirror. I got a big giant mirror in my house. So I had to look at myself every day. And I started to say, after a while, I didn't have that immediate, that would have been sweet if I'd had that download. It was more like, you need to purge all of the false belief systems that you've put in there. And then once you get through one layer, guess what? There's another layer to it. And it's very funny because it sneaks back in, especially when you're ready to be open and vulnerable. You can go either way because your brain has the pathways built in already. So retraining the brain on how to love the self, that's a whole nother story. So um, start with just saying you're beautiful. Start with just acknowledging how you are right now, even that squiggly little toe that might need a little bit of extra loving, so massage that. But appreciate every ounce and inch, ounce, pounds, hello, of you.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a very good mantra. I am that. I am beautiful, because you are a facet of the expression of God Himself. And if he has chosen to dwell in your house, in your body, because he found it worthy, how dare any of us say that we are not when the great I am says that you are? That's where he's choosing to dwell. So whenever you feel bad, you remember your house is the tabernacle of the Most High. And he finds your house worthy and beautiful enough to live in. Until next time, which will be very, very soon. We love you very much.
Cheers.
Bye now.
Aloha.